That lovely new intro to the podcast is courtesy of today's guest, Dion.
Dion, do you care to introduce yourself and explain to the good listeners of Leanne's Lounge podcast who exactly you are?
Yeah, I'm Dion Cruikshanks. I'm head teacher here at Jackie's Music School, which is where we're having our interview. I'm also an artist. I go as Forest Echo 1. So I do a lot of electronic stuff under that guise as well. So that's roughly who I am.
Nice. I have to explain the relationship that I have with you, how I know you.
Yeah.
So you're my epic drum teacher.
Oh, well,
we're picking apart every week the skill set and developing it. And I feel very inspired by you as an instructor.
Yeah.
So that's why I really wanted to dive in and interview you for the podcast and get a little bit out there about the work that you're doing as well outside of the music school. I know you did just kind of gloss over it there, but before we get into all that, would you like to explain to people where you grew up when you were younger?
Yeah, I'm originally from Crumlin, working class family, parents obviously, and I have one brother, younger brother Robert. I'm also married, I have a great wife Nadia and a beautiful daughter Leanne.
Lovely, that's very nice. You said your wife is creative as well. Is she an artist?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Actually, this is where
I heard you mention it before.
This is where I'm going to get a plug in, Leanne, so we the good
Absolutely.
She runs her own, her own fashion business as fauna.ie, and she does all her own designs and textile work and stuff like that. So
very good. So is there like a particular target audience that she would cater for?
Yeah, she does across the board really. She does an awful lot of adult stuff, but she also originally started off like catering for young kids and stuff like that, baby wear and stuff. That's gone really, really well, because I remember when she started it, God, I can't remember how long ago it is now, it's a while, but it was just an idea and her talent. She's a great artist, able to draw incredible stuff, and it started basically on the kitchen table, and
very good.
Off it went from there. Yeah.
Brilliant. Jeez, that's a talented family. Does your daughter play any instruments or anything like that?
Yes, Bea plays guitar, and she's actually really good she's 11 now, so she's actually quite good for that age group. She comes down here for lessons with Rachel, as you know. Yeah. And the two of them get on very, very well, so she's progressing really well, so it's excellent. So,
brilliant.
Yeah, she's doing it about a year, maybe a little bit more. We were doing some stuff in the house together before that, just having little jams and seeing as well what she was able to do and stuff, and she was really quick on the uptake with it, so I knew there was something there. So I didn't push too much until she started asking, could she take it a little bit more serious and maybe come down and do a few lessons and this, that, and the other.
Good on her. That's good.
It's good.
It's nice to
really
have that in the home growing up.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this to you before. My dad was a guitar player and stuff like that, and that's what got me into music from a really, really early age. So he taught me loads of the basics basically. And when I started teaching here, then Rachel came down. She wouldn't have been much older than what B is now.
Right.
And then Rachel did all our grades with myself, and then her teacher diploma, and now she's teaching Leanne. So I was saying like 4 different generations, all working together, allegedly. But yeah, it's great to see that you're able to pass something down, and that's the great thing when you come into the classes as well. You know the type of enjoyment you get from physically playing stuff. And being able to do that with others, it's it is quite special. That's why music in general is still, I think, a part of literally everybody's life, and there's always something kind of, in my opinion, a little bit more special about seeing an artist or a musician play in a live context, concerts or gigs or whatever the case may be, or just jamming with your friends and stuff. Yeah. So I think it's really important.
Yeah. So how old were you when you took up the guitar, really?
I was around the same age. I was about 10 or 11. My dad was playing an awful lot of folky trad stuff I used to hear and stuff like that, but he'd also play kind of more contemporary stuff, but it was all acoustic for him. He wasn't really into the electric sound that much. He was when he was younger, but it was a lot of acoustic guitar stuff. So there'd be a lot of friends and other family members that would come over, and there'd be little kind of sessions in the house and stuff like that where they'd be playing and jamming and stuff. So you'd be listening to a lot of different stuff from banjo players, mandolin players, acoustic guitar, singing. Not that I can sing. But,
sounds like quite a holy in the house.
it was good. It was good like that. It was like it just opened your eyes to. I took it for granted, because when you grow up, you think everybody has a jam in their house, you know what I mean, or everyone's into music or whatever. Yeah. Until you start getting older and you realise that obviously people have different interests, and then there's different levels of those interests of how obsessive you want to get with it, or if it's just for enjoyment. You know, way. So
You kind of veered into slightly obsessive.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get like that.
Talented.
You can go like that at certain stages. Like I always found that like I was only talking about this with another guy there the other day, one of the younger students. He's a teenager, and he would play for hours every day, but we were talking about the amount of hours he was doing on a daily basis on the 3-month summer break, and it was like he'd be playing 8-10 hours a day.
Wow.
Like, and really playing.
That's devotion.
So so he was really getting stuck into it, because he got bitten by the bug, so to speak, and his playing took a massive step forward once you get into that territory of commitment and practice and stuff like that. It's really it's quite difficult for most people to achieve, especially for the younger students maybe, or adults with working life and family life and stuff, to dedicate hours into it. But over a period of time, like if you think of it, like it's not like a sprint. You're constantly learning. I'm still learning now. It's 25, 26 years of teaching, solid all through those years, and I'm still picking things up, still learning. Still doing all that. So you never stop learning when it comes to it. So it's that, never be too hard on yourself if you're going, can't get this doesn't feel right. As you laugh, we had a conversation.
You'll be telling me that every week.
And you take it, because some weeks you'll have a great week and other weeks you won't, and you learn more from not the great weeks, to be honest with you, than when everything goes great and you're patting yourself on the back. You actually learn more from your mistakes. You know? The key is, over a period of time, don't keep making the same mistake.
I don't, like, I mean, I've jumped out of planes, and I still don't think that the moment I walked out of this room, the first lesson I've ever had with you, I don't think there was anything more exhilarating than the feeling of that first drum lesson, because I've been wanting to learn for so long, but never actually applying myself appropriately to get a teacher. And it was incredible, like, to understand that it's something that can be worked on and learned day, month, years into your life. Decades. Like you say, because it's a never-ending process, it was initially, it just felt like something incredible that I just wanted so much more of. It was amazing. Like, I was chuffed. I decided to go and
a lot
follow
of people
suit.
do say that once they come down and commit to it, and they get that emotion or feeling that you're talking about, and then it's over a period of time, as I was saying, that it's like, not that everything is kind of very fast moving these days, a bit of a throwaway culture. This is something that develops over a long period of time to be, you know, it's to be, I think, to enjoy the process, and don't be like, after 15 minutes or whatever, why haven't I got this, you know, because it does take dedication, practice, you know, so. Yeah,
it's good. So how long were you playing the guitar for before? Like, were you in a band or anything when you were only guitar when you were up?
No, I started off on the acoustic guitar, and then a couple of the bands that I know were looking for a bass player, and I got a bass. I think it was about 15 I was, and I started doing loads of bass for a couple of 2-3 different bands. So between then and when I got up to about 18 or 19, it was all guitar kind of and bass type stuff, and I only got back. I used to play the drums a little bit, just for fun. It wasn't anything too serious. And then I was in college doing sound engineering, and one of the other modules was to take maybe an instrument that you learned and played it. And I didn't want to just go back to doing bass or guitar, so I said I'll do that module with the drums and see how I get on. And then that's basically how it was. And then over a period of time in the background, I was just building up my grades year by year by year until I got to that stage where we are today, here in the drum room.
That's deadly. It's very interesting to hear how long of a period of time you transition from one instrument into the next.
Yeah.
Because I've heard of people going to do degrees in London for their music, and they had to take up a second instrument that way.
Yeah, they always recommend that. That's what I was saying to other people. It just gives you a better perspective. Yeah. Just across the board, regards your theory, techniques in that specific instrument and playing, and just things like it is good. But I have to say as well, if you do kind of get to a stage where you're quite competent on one instrument, it is easier to pick up another one. That knowledge does transfer over. I've seen it. It happened to myself, and I've seen it with others as well. So it's not like a total beginner who would walk in on day one here and want to just do drums. If you've been playing a couple of years in the drums and you're quite competent, maybe you have a couple of grades under your belt or whatever the case may be, and you want to try a bit of guitar or piano, yeah, it does kind of move over with you to a certain degree. Now obviously there's different issues with each instrument and stuff that you would have to learn specifically in that. But it does tend to go from instrument to instrument, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And can you play anything else?
Can I play anything else? Well, I love playing the guitar, drums. I haven't played bass now in a while, but I do then the electronic music stuff as well. So I do a lot of drum machine work and synth work and all that type of stuff.
Learning process and all of that.
Yeah, there is actually. Yeah, there's a huge amount. But I was saying, like, the guys that I know to do the electronic stuff to the guys that were doing the guitar, band, bass stuff, we all get bit by the same type of bug. We all have that same type of feeling. So it doesn't really matter musically, stylistically what you're into. You feel the same, if you know what I mean. Where there's somebody who might just be DJing, they feel the same as we have a drum session here. It turns out really well. It's the same type of feeling. So yeah, I don't know too much about the science behind it. I was saying it to you earlier. I don't know if there's certain endorphins released or something like that brings the happiness or the joy. But there's something there that then gets you, so it keeps you going.
Yeah, there is. There's something really beautiful about catching a proper vibe when you're playing anything, really.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. And then, as I said, it's over a long period of time. Then you learn your craft. It's like an apprenticeship almost. You know, and you have to be realistic about that. Benchmark yourself over a period of months, not days or weeks. You know, that way. Sometimes even give yourself a 12-month period, a full year to go. Well, where was I here or where was I there? That's why I don't encourage everybody to do the grades or the exams, because it doesn't suit everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody learns like that, but if you don't take the exams, I kind of encourage then the students to take some of the pieces that were in the exam, just so they can learn the techniques, get a feel, get an idea, and then they can benchmark themselves in a 12-month process or whatever, just to see progression, basically. See what the weak points are. Because what happens to a lot of musicians as well is, I'm sure you heard about guys that I play the guitar and it's like 4 chord songs forever. Nothing, there's anything wrong with that. Some people love that, and that's where they are, and they really, really enjoy it, and that's brilliant as well. But you can get stuck in a wee bit of a trap just playing kind of comfortable.
Like me on the hi-hat, I have this marriage with the hi-hat that I can't divorce. It's good. A comfort zone.
Yeah,
for quite a while.
Yeah, it's because you're leading with your right hand.
Yeah.
We won't talk about the left hand.
Yeah. Shameful left arm ability.
It's quite good. I think for the time you've been coming down, I think because you're so interested in it, I think you're doing really well, to be honest.
I don't think we're doing too bad. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. And I said with the exams, it's something for the future to have a little think about progression-wise. Even if you don't want to sit the exam, learn the techniques. Remember, like the rhythms you were talking about, paradiddles, all that type of stuff. It is important, you know. And I say the same thing to the guitar guys, technique-wise. Just have a go and see how you feel then, you know.
Yeah.
Because it is beneficial, yeah.
Would you recommend having more than one style of drum teacher at any one time, or do you think it would cause confusion in the department of learning styles then?
Yeah, I think if you're coming down here, we're focused here on like basic acoustic 5-piece kits. So there's a certain style involved in that. Now, that's what I was saying, with the exams, sometimes you would have to learn a samba beat, rock, jazz beats, very important, jazz styles, different time signatures, very important as well. So that's basically, a lot of people will struggle from time to time with that, but there's counting techniques and there's ways around it and stuff. So the exams can be brilliant that way, because if you come down here and say you're a metalhead or a rockhead and all you want to play is Metallica songs, you're going to be really good at that because you're just stuck in that zone of rock stuff. But I think to be an overall, if you're taking it a little bit more seriously as you get older and you're spending more time with it and investing in equipment, I think to be a better player all round is to touch on the different styles and the different techniques involved in those styles, whether it be, as I said, jazz, Latin music, whatever. Do you know that, like, it does make you an all round better player.
Yeah.
You know, and again, when you're trying to find, we were talking about this as well. Some of the guys were, when they're practicing and stuff, they want to sound like their favorite musician, guitar wise or drummer or whatever. But over a period of time, then it's to try and find your own kind of signature sound, and then having all that knowledge from the styles, from the different grades and all, you can start to create your own sound, so to speak, that people go, oh, that's Leanne.
Yeah.
Do you know, and you get to that stage, then you know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you've arrived, but you never
I
kind
think
of arrived.
I'm a long way away from that now.
Yeah,
But you actually brought me to my next question there. I was curious to dabble into this one, right? You mentioned time signatures there, and there's this ongoing dilemma when I speak to people that they do ask me, can you explain time signatures? And I mean, I'm with you a good while now in terms of like getting instruction every week and trying to understand it. But for anybody who is listening, just because I have riddles of ways of explaining time signatures in my head, it doesn't come out very well.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So as though the listener is 3 years of age and is hearing it for the first thing,
the simplest way to explain it for bog standard stuff, if you've no music experience, but people that have will listen to this and go, oh yeah, I know multiple amount of time signatures or whatever. It's just to do with your count, how many beats are in your bar. Okay, and the most easiest way to explain that is common time. Common time is basically four timing, which means there's just 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it.
Okay.
For starting off, for anybody, doesn't matter what instrument you're playing, 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be your best mate for a long time.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Because playing in time is absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crucial, as you know. When the song is on and we're jamming, if there's a slip, and it'll happen to anybody, most experienced people playing live, there will be slips.
Yeah.
But it's how you recover from that and keep the show on the road will determine the outcome of that slip, basically, if it's massive or small. So it's just, so being able to count your time signatures, or sometimes the monitors on stage, these are just live things that people go through over the years. The monitors mightn't be great, so you can't hear the lead guitar work or the vocals that well, but the drums are massively loud, as you know, and everyone hears the drummer, so count is your best friend. It's 9 times out of 10 when you count, your sticking will fall into the count and keep your beat nice and solid, even if you're having audio problems on stage and stuff like that. So it's keeping things really, you see an awful lot of drummers play with in-ear pieces, which metronome counts going and stuff like that, just to keep them rock solid, basically. So drifting.
The top of the triangle, you know, the metronome at the top, the golden rules.
Absolutely.
No, that's deadly. That is. It's very hard, I found, to explain that to people. You know, the understanding of it, because I didn't thoroughly understand it myself for a long time, and then only when I sat down at the drum kit, it started to obviously make a lot more sense than when I was trying to learn the drum sheet music. Yeah,
as I said, the easiest way is the common time one, which we've been doing a lot of our rock stuff with, which is just basically 4/4 or 4 to the floor. 2, 3, and just keep that going and being able to lock into that without drifting, because an awful lot of people have a certain amount of natural rhythm and timing. But over the years then, as I said, with different techniques, especially when you're playing live and stuff, it's not always going to be the best of sound for you. When you're at the back there and everyone's facing out, you want to be able to make sure that you're absolutely rock solid, and then everyone's basically following you. You're the foundation, then everything else is on top of basically what you're doing. So practice.
Yeah. What's the bare minimum quantity of time you recommend a day?
It depends on the level you're at. It depends on your age group, but I would say in like 15-20 minutes, I find on a regular basis is more beneficial than sitting down and trying to squeeze an hour and a half in. Do you know what I mean? Now that's easier said than done for me sitting here, because I'm playing all day, so I can get my practice in that way. But say if you have a young student who's 11, 12 coming home from school, I would recommend getting into it. The routine is key. So when they come in, either like after, I know it sounds quite remedial, like after homework, after dinner, wherever it is, that time slot is practice time. I know it's 15-20 minutes, and you add that up with your class time then during the week, and it's substantial enough. And as you get older, as I said, if you're doing grades or you want to go to college with it or whatever the case may be, you can
a lot more increase.
Do you know that way? Yeah. It is. Yeah.
So you've transitioned into electronic
music,
production.
Yeah.
Where did that come about? Because for me, like when I found out that that's what you've progressed to with your music ability, that seems quite different than what we're at here. I was a bit shocked to hear for me it seems like a big difference in choice.
I was thinking about this as well. I was having a conversation with a couple of pals there. We were saying the same thing. We're all in the same boat. We all started off with guitar-based music. I suppose it's different times now. So this was like, I don't want to say a lot. A long time ago. But it just seems that everything is written in stone a little bit more these days. If you're into something, that's all you're into. Yeah. I remember growing up, like we were all guitar-based stuff and quite heavy music at the time. And then what happened was you started to get to a certain age as you got older, and you start listening to all sorts then with that. And there wasn't a problem listening to any other music. Like maybe I'm not explaining that right, but everything seemed so. This is what I
don't go outside the box.
Yeah, don't go outside the box too much, and it just wasn't like that for, I suppose, my generation growing up. We loved everything. Electronic music was only starting to really take hold 30 odd years ago, so it seemed quite exciting. Yeah. It was a really strange transition for me. I'd have my group of pals, and we'd be going into town, and we'd be just practicing and stuff like that. We used to hang out the back of the central bank there, and we used to pop into. Central Bank's gone now as well, but there was a place called.
Actually, yeah, I was thinking of like it's like Krispy Kreme or something now. Krispy Kreme donuts. It's like gentrified everything now.
Yeah, my God, we used to hang out there because a lot of the kids that played music or skateboarders, we'd all hang out there and just talk about music and stuff like that. But there was a little place on the corner at the back which was Comet Records.
I'm aware of it,
yeah. We used to go in there, and it's like I still love vinyl. Like I collect so much records. I just love the format and the feel of it. And we used to go in there and buy our records and stuff. But we were all listening to really heavy stuff. I was listening to I was only talking to this an English band called Napalm Death, which was like extreme grindcore, which is like extremely like heavy metal, but there was a kind of a little punky feel to it as well. And a couple of my mates would have older brothers, so they would be hanging with their groups kind of in the same area, but they were a few years ahead of us. And I remember Mick Harris was the drummer at the time, and he was doing this really fast drum beat called like a blast beat. And I remember looking at this going, this is unbelievable. And I said, I have to give this a go. But then whatever happened, bands changed, personnel changed, and I don't think he was in the band that much. And we used to give out like tapes to each other. I know it sounds ridiculous, but a lot of the gigs,
it's actually beautiful to hear that this is what went on.
a lot of the gigs used to get pirate copied, up the front, and the cassette recorder was out, and the thing would be recorded, you know. And I should know this guy's name. I forget the chap's name now, and sadly he's passed away. I know that Thomas House, when it did happen, had some sort of little thing for him, but he used to sell his cassettes out of a suitcase on O'Connell Street Bridge. You know, this sounds like different days. It was actually, but you can go and buy all your cassette tapes from him because he'd go to gigs all the time, or he knew someone else that was going. And they'd record it, and you'd buy it, and we'd go home and listen to it, and it'd be shocking. It'd be shocking quality, like it'd be so poor. But it was like, I have this tape of this gig from 19, God knows what. But they started listening to all this other electronic music because this guy from the band we were listening to, Karis, was from Birmingham, and he was making, I think he had a little studio or something, and he was messing around with some electronic stuff himself. And he had another guy that came down around that time as well. It was the first time I heard a guy called Surgeon, and he was teaming up with a guy called Regis, and they were all kind of just starting off themselves all around that time. But that older group, that kind of we were still mad into Napalm Death, but they had transitioned, and the link was the drummer going off to do this, so they were listening to these other music, and they were going, here, have you heard this? It's so and so. And I was like, no, I haven't heard that. And I started listening to that then. That would have been early, I don't know, 90s sometime, in around that time. And that was it then. And from then, I liked the live element of it in particular. So there was bands then that were from the UK in particular, like Underworld, Orbital, that type of stuff because you could see them, the Orb as well, all that type of ambient stuff as well, because you could see them physically playing the stuff. It wasn't like some mystical thing that you were hearing. Because I was trying to figure out when I was listening to this stuff, it's like, how is he actually making that? Like, what instruments did he use? I obviously some sort of I thought it was a keyboard or something at that stage, but different synths and drum machines to create this sound, and I was like very interested in that. So that's roughly how I got started, and then listening to those other live bands, said Orbital and Underworld and stuff like that.
Right, that's cool. I'm actually a big fan of the use of synth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big fan of Viagra Boys, and they've got like very unique use of it. I love it. Absolutely adore them. Like, I love how people can really specify their own kind of twist of a song from selective use of a synth. Like, it's quite unique.
It gives it kind of opens the door a little bit musically, where we'll be using an awful lot of like acoustic instruments, or maybe the only thing was an electric guitar or bass, whatever. But it was going into this world, it was like, there's so many things you can do with this. Like, it was like, to me, it was quite experimental, and it was just unlocked something in me then that was like, I can actually do what I want. It's only my head that's stopping me. I can really go with mad stuff with this, and it'll sound decent. So it was like, and out of all the instruments, the likes of like piano or keys in general is not my forte at all. That and singing is...
I was half expecting you to say that you could throw a few notes on the keys.
No, I'm good at creating stuff through MIDI and sequencing and stuff like that. And that's like, and that sounds really nerdy and boring, but like...
It's actually not. I have a tiny little one at home, and I've never actually put the time into learning it thoroughly, but I know how it operates, you know what I mean? Like,
it's
basics.
Like, as we were talking earlier, it's like when you're transitioning from one instrument to another, when you get to a certain level, when you get to learn how to program these machines, it's roughly the same fundamentals for every machine.
Isn't it incredible though, that you can do these things now?
Absolutely. Yeah. I thought that was really like, that was the shift for me. So that would have been what I was getting into an awful lot, and I'm still into it today. I just really enjoy making music that way.
Yeah, deadly. It's really nice to see the difference, the variance of what you actually took up and where the live music took you, and your own interests and stuff, influences and stuff over the years, like how it diversified as you grew.
Yeah, I think I did some DJing as well for a while, but I definitely preferred the hands-on, the more tactile, coming from playing instruments then to actually playing synths and drum machines. I still really enjoy that. I could get lost for days doing that. Making a tracker like that. My daughter loves to draw as well. She gets that from her mum, so she'd be sitting beside me. I have a small studio at home, so she'd be sitting beside drawing away what I'm creating, and we're just
that's incredible.
And every time we wouldn't be saying much, but every now we turn and look at each other and smile, and heads are back down. Then it's like
brilliant.
All good.
So interesting. I'm delighted that I was able to get a chance to sit down with you.
Yeah.
I am gonna query something with you. I have this is the fine print now.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start a little series special, starting with yourself. So
you have me on the spot here.
These
I can't guarantee the quality of the answers.
Don't worry, we can edit. Chop and change.
Chop.
Okay, so these are going to be the same 3 questions that I ask in the next couple of guests.
Yeah.
Okay, that I have on, and I'm going to be curious to know each person's individual take on the answer.
Yeah.
And to start with you, the first question is, what advice would you give your younger self?
Work harder. Don't enjoy yourself too much. No, it's get a good work. I say this to all the kids, even the guys that are going to college for the first time to do music. You are the boss, you are the company, you are absolutely everything. So the day one you walk in there, it's not about, being a superstar, so to speak. It's like all the boring stuff. Set your business up, register self-employed, be a proper artist from the get-go, because years roll into years, and before you know it, you're playing serious catch-up. So take it a little bit more. If you're really into it, take it serious from the get-go.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. Nice take. Right, the next one is, if you could have dinner with any 3 people in the world.
3 people?
Dead or alive.
Dead or alive.
Who would they be, and why did you choose them?
I have to say my wife. Another artist that I'm really into is a guy called Aphex Twin.
Oh, yeah. I'm aware of who that is.
There's a classical guitarist that I absolutely love as well, John Williams. I'd love to have a chat with him as well.
Right, what makes them so special?
Their music is incredible.
Music based.
Yeah, and I think if you're making that music that's incredible, I think I want to hear what you have to say.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like it could be an entertaining dinner party, alright?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Right, so to finish it off, if you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
That is so difficult. That is so difficult for me. I love all sorts of music. I suppose what I always go back to over a long period of time is Fugazi, that kind of punk hardcore band, and their original album Fugazi or 13. So there's a couple of different variations on it. I always listen to that, and it never gets old.
Right.
Never gets old.
You have mentioned them once before to me.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'm like, it's the one thing that I have since I heard them. I think we were first year, I think, in secondary school, and again passing tapes around and stuff like that. And I was like, why is this? It's really good, and it just stuck with me ever since. So yeah, maybe then.
Nice. That's a nice one. I'll have to check that out. Like that.
There's so many
I
brilliant
know
albums
it's
that
so
haven't even
difficult.
mentioned.
It's so difficult.
That's
But
just where I am at the moment.
Yeah,
but
no,
it
that's
mightn't
it.
be tomorrow.
I'll have to accumulate a playlist by the end of this.
Yeah.
You know, this series where the questions are involved on those before they get changed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna accumulate a playlist of everybody's album choice, and see who I think is the best.
And if anyone's listening that does want to try that, they should check out Spin Dizzy in Georgia Street Arcade for your kind of more alternative music. You could pick that album up there, or if you're into more electronic stuff, you should check out All City Records in Temple Bar.
Nice, good, sounds good. So would you like to give a little plug to anything that you have upcoming before we finish?
Yeah, I suppose if you're interested in what I do artist-wise, on Instagram I use that kind of like as a audio visual type of diary, just for ideas and little jams. That's Forest Echo 1. And as I said, I need to give a plug here to the school from past students and current students and their families and friends, because we're 20 years going this year, and we're not funded by anybody. We're literally the support of our community here and in the students and stuff like that. So if you're looking for lessons as well.
Brilliant. Dion, thank you very much. I can't tell you how happy I am that we actually were able to lock in this interview. Yeah. No, I'm chuffed. I'm absolutely chuffed. So thanks very much. We do have a little gift for you. Everybody from now on gets to leave with a little Leanne's Lounge podcast mug. So I have one of those
nice one.
here.
Yeah.
So feel free to enjoy your morning coffee and that courtesy of Leanne's Lounge.
I'm gonna have it here in the school and wave it in the face
There
of everybody else.
There you go. There you go. Listen, thanks very much for catching up with me. I appreciate it. And we'll catch you on social media for all your upcoming releases and then some. All right, thank you.